right into our second entrepreneur panel for the fair. And this panel will be talking all about scaling. What are the realities of scaling across different customer segments, across different markets? I'd like to invite Diana Gichaga, who is the managing partner of Private Equity Support, who will be leading us through this segment. Welcome, Diana. And joining Diana on this panel, we have Endre, who's the CEO of HotelOnline. Welcome, Endre. We also have Kamal, who is the CEO of Craft Silicon. And we also have Barclay Okari, who is the CEO of Grobox. Welcome back.
All right, thank you. I hope we have the energy, especially after lunch. It's important for us to keep the energy up. So I'll be having a lot of audience participation, meaning you have to be very keen, taking the theme of the story and running with it. Yeah, we have goodies, invisible ones, but the thoughts is what counts. I'm very excited to be on this panel, especially with very well-known and experienced entrepreneurs. And I think when we were doing our debrief, one of the key things we said today is we could give you good stories and we could give you, keep you motivated, but if we don't tell you the truth and reality on the ground, then we will have done you a disservice because you're here to learn from our experience, right? So what we're going to be doing is, as we're discussing what scaling is and isn't, we're going to be drawing on our own personal experiences so that it's relatable, you know. So we're not just telling you stories, but it is for you to be able to gain something, especially for this panel. So we'll have discussions for about 45 minutes, and then thereafter we'll have questions and answers from you. So every few minutes I'll be throwing in a question just to make sure you're with us. We're good? All right, so I will ask each of our entrepreneurs to just give us 1 minute, 2 minute background about their companies and what they do. And we have a little twist. We're going to talk about all the companies we've worked with or founded, and we are going to mention the ones that people know that are a success, and maybe the ones people have never heard of, because all of us have a failure story. So we'll start with Kamal.
Hi, good afternoon.
And more energy coming.
So yeah, I founded this company a couple of years back called Craft Silicon, which provides payment products. So it's end-to-end co-banking, savings cooperative solutions, microfinance solutions, payment products. Craft is grown, so it's no longer a startup now. Craft operates in several countries across the continent and also offices in Asia. We are a 1,000 people company now at Craft Silicon. And yeah, but at some point I'm a techie, so I still do programming. I still end up, I try my best to operate like a CEO, but it's just not me. So when Craft Silicon I think grew and my role as doing actual programming, I started find it a bit boring. So I got into another company I started, which is Little. And we started Little as a ride-hailing app. It just used to do, when we saw the problems happening in other ride-hailing companies in the country, we saw that as an opportunity. So we started Little. Today Little is not Little. It's more like a super app now, so you can do rides, food, groceries, payments, events, movies. Everything is in one app. Little has close to about 1 million customers on the platform now. In terms of drivers, we have about 200,000 drivers sitting on the platform. We operate in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. We also want to get into Zambia and DRC, and maybe Zanzibar also in the near future. So that's what I do. In terms of failure, so one of the reasons why I went into Little is Craft is a B2B provider. provider, so you don't actually end up on craft platforms. I have several millions of customers using our solution, but it's B2B2C solution. So I provide a solution to a bank, and then the bank is the one providing solution to end consumers. I wanted to get into the retail mass market where we start owning the customer. So I launched a wallet, and it has a lot of good functionalities. But then I also provide software solution to our customers to run a wallet, and on one side I'm providing them the solution, the other side I'm also running a wallet. So it started becoming a bit of a conflict among my existing customers, and it miserably failed. So that I think was one of the failure. And yeah, beyond that, that's what I do. Thank you.
Let's give him a hand. Endre, over to you.
Hello everybody, my name is Endre. I'm a Norwegian, but I had the pleasure of living in Kenya for 14 years, so love it there. So HotelOnline, we digitize the hospitality sector, and we provide an amazing solution for hotels where you have all the technology you need to run the hotel, what's called a property management system, a channel manager that connects you to all the channels like Booking.com, Expedia, Airbnb, etc. And a booking engine that allows you to sell directly, also integrated with Google. In addition to this, we give you a revenue manager that helps boost your revenue. So what we actually deliver to our clients is increased revenue, and that is something most properties across East Africa needs. We work with 1,000 plus properties. We have an amazing team here in Nairobi at ABC Place. And growth is good. It's been quite a ride. We survived COVID. It wasn't very easy. Luckily we didn't fail, and we survived, yeah? Our goal is to become the dominant player in Africa, and I think we're going to make it. The entrepreneurial journey is a roller coaster, and I had my failures too. I remember my first startup, actually when I met Eric. That started in 1999, yeah? When we had the first .com boom. A company called Global Entrepreneurs. I was very idealistic. This was before Facebook and LinkedIn and all these things. And I wanted to gather, entrepreneurs around the world. Very idealistic. We didn't make much money, but I learned a lot. Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's give him a hand. Barclay, over to you.
Good afternoon. My name is Barclay. I'm an entrepreneur, maybe 13, 14 years. Started off in consumer goods and built a company that manufactured sanitary towels, baby diapers. 2011, sold it in 2015, and I got into fintech. Initially on the lending side. So early competitors when Tala branch were still piloting, then realized that the customer doesn't see your technology, they see the money. So if you don't have money, you don't have business. So pivoted to doing finances. Finances initially we started by building or digitizing circles, so building technology, back office automation for circles, then front office mobile and so USSD mobile apps. Did that up to 2020, and then also realized that it was like kind of stagnating where I give a circle a back office and a front office automation tools, then they don't need me. I guess for Kamal, he likes that and he's okay with that. We got it as a craft. For us, what we were looking at was if I'm able to cross-sell other products. And we were thinking that if you give circles a digital platform, then they're able to curate their products better serve their customers, etc. And that wasn't happening. So during COVID, we ended up building what is now Grobox, a platform that's digitizing cooperatives. Our big idea was there's a whole lot of people who use banks, circles, microfinance banks, who are farmers, and because the system doesn't have their data, they don't know how to build solutions for them. So if you're a farmer and you're a dairy farmer, tea farmer, coffee farmer, and you're paid by KPCU or Brookside, always paying you, and you take 10,000 shillings to a circle account or to a bank account, they don't see that. Or even if the money was sent from Brookside, they'll not know what you did to Brookside. Did you supply toiletries, or was it milk that you took there? So the idea for us, or the platform you built, we're able to track produce from the farm gates to the cooperatives who aggregate this produce, and then to the off-takers who take this process and then sell on the wholesale and retail side. And then using our platform, when the money is paid from the processor to the cooperative and to the farmer, we also track that money backwards. So if you think about what we're doing, on one side, we look at all the production activities of farmers, and we have that data in real time. And then on the other side, we are able to see their income. So our farmer then becomes de-risked because they behave like a salaried person. Our farmers have receipts, payslips at the end of every month. So they can take that and what we are trying now to do is now, which was our big idea, was with all this data that we have around these activities, that we layer financial services on top of it. So I can sell you a savings product, I can sell you insurance, I can sell you credit. So that's kind of what we're doing. Before we try to scale, try to go to many different countries, Circle and cooperative platform, Zambia, Uganda, Rwanda, learned very painful lessons, and then came back. We can talk about that.
And we will be diving into that. So just to make sure that we are all on the same page, very quickly from the audience, and I don't want you to say 100 words, take 100 minutes, just very briefly. Two people, what does scale mean to you, or what do you think scale is? Just very quickly, audience, anybody, this is your chance to shine and stand up from the crowd. Anyone? Zechu. What does scale mean to you? From an investor perspective.
Yes, thank you, Diana, for putting me on the spotlight.
I love to do that.
But I love attention. So scale for me is...
Stand so people can see Tanzania in the house.
Yes, that's me. I think I'm the only Rasta male. So scale for me is once an entrepreneur has the minimum viable product and the customers want it and they love it, and now they're able to grow 10 times, 100 times their customer base.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else the definition of what a scale is? You are second to put your hand up after Sechu volunteered his.
Okay, so for me, scale, I can define it this way: you have obtained a product market fit, and now you have already also set up a sales channel that you can set in motion and be able to move and maybe increase your customers from different regions. Thanks.
All right, so I want to come back to our panel and say, you've had, and we've all had these thoughts about what scale is, and you've had from the audience, and even when we engage, whether with shareholders, like in Kamal's case, or with investors, in your cases, it's countries, it's products, it's services, it's diversified revenue. So just very quickly, in your own words, how would you define what growth means to you as a founder, but what growth means to your stakeholders, either your investors or your shareholders, and where there's a bit of a separation, so to speak? Yes, sorry, we'll be going like this. And maybe just to add later, then we can start this way. Yes.
So in my view, I think scale, in a very layman's language, scale is what everything that an investor needs But in my view, I just want to add to that you do whatever investor needs, but do it in a sustainable manner. And for us, I think the growth is you continue growing, but at the same time grow it in such a way that your bank balance doesn't just get off and then you start looking for everything else. Like as a CEO, for example, in my case, I am able to focus on what the product should be. I'm able to focus what my customers want. But if you are going madly after scaling up, opening countries and recruiting new customers, then I think the CEO's job would change from what the product needs to looking for money, because every now and then he knows we are going to be out of money and he just looks money after the money. So when he is doing that, I think he loses the focus of the product, and at some point the investors, because you have grown, so they would come and exit and somebody else would come in and they will exit, but then it becomes so difficult for that founder to continue holding the big fort when the investors are exiting one after the other, because they need to exit and somebody else has to come. So in my view, I think scale up, yes, you grow, you go to different countries, you recruit new customers, you roll out new products, but I think at the end you continue doing that in a more sustainable fashion.
I like what he said, and just before Andre, you say your points, just two key takeaways from that. Sustainable manner, cash at hand. And I know there's usually a conflict with those two statements sometimes, especially when you talk about scale. So what has your experience been in terms of trying to marry the two?
Yeah, we had a lot of, I would say we have two main experiences with scaling. One was pre-COVID and one was post-COVID. Pre-COVID, for some reason, we were very aggressive. And we felt we needed to go into 2 to 3 new countries at the same time. And that was, and even buying a few companies, that was interesting, but what happened, of course, was that we were very thin. And that's why we even today we have clients in 26 countries, but 90% of our business is in Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Yeah. So after COVID, when we also had a near-death experience, we really started doing sustainable scaling. So we have a very clear plan. Every month we need 50 new properties. Those properties are bringing in revenue, and then bringing in so many new bookings with guests. Actually, our scaling now is trying to see how can we make more money on our guests, And like I said, the core focus now is Kenya, Rwanda. I know we are really gearing up with Zanzibar. That's what we're going to do. And our only goal is to meet the growth plan, which I'm very happy to say that we're doing. So this is organic scaling where it's also self-funded, So we don't need investors to do that. If we become very good at that, then maybe we will look for investment to do that a little bit faster, because we also know that if you want an exit, we will get a much more lucrative exit if you are able to be the dominant African player and can sell to a non-African player. That is our goal. So we are all about scaling. It's sustainable.
Again, it has to be sustainable. The mode changed post-COVID. Something about, and I liked what you said about spreading yourself thin. It's team, it's present. Maybe just delve a little bit more into, when you say you were spreading yourself thin, what were you referring to?
As a small company, we opened up Nigeria, Senegal. In Nigeria itself, that's a 5-year project, minimum. So we did it at the same time. It was crazy. Let's call it valuable education.
Yeah.
Let's call it that.
It's a school fees.
Yeah, let's say the fees were involved.
All right then. So Barclay, now over to you and your own experience on scaling. Yes.
My experience around scaling, so like what Kamal said around scaling needs to be sustainable.
Yeah.
For me, scaling is having many customers or customers at scale, right? And not having to use a lot of money to acquire the same customers. What my experience has been around scaling is, so you scale for different reasons, and especially when you're dealing with stakeholders, if you raise money to some investors, scaling means going to a different country. Even when your primary market is big enough for you to grow in. But it has different challenges. For me, us going to different markets, a part of it is, people who do currency hedging. So, like entrepreneurs in Nigeria will tell you, with the currency devaluation, they want to be out of Nigeria. They want to market out of Nigeria so that their revenue numbers, it can look like you're not growing, but in local currency you're growing. In USD terms, you're not doing anything. But we did that, but that did not work out very well, partly because of customers. For the product you're trying to sell, Kenya is the most advanced market, so, and better organized, so it's very easy for you, and also because we live here, we understand this market, it's very easy for you to make a phone call, to drive, reach out, it's a market you understand. But when you're going to a different market for scaling, like Andre was saying, it can be a 5-year project. So you go there, it's like pushes you where you were 3-4 years ago. So I've come to appreciate scaling differently. On my side where I'm thinking, can I make this market work at a very high level? And then opening the other opportunities, knowing full well that I can pay the school fees and it will not affect my day-to-day running of the business. Because when you scale like that, and then you spread yourself thin, and then it doesn't work out, if you're working with stakeholders, if you're working with investors, they run away. And then you become the fall guy. So then it's for you as an entrepreneur, you have to make that decision or determination yourself, because it's your business, it's your idea, it's your vision. Look at the investors, the other partners you work with, as secondary to that, because you're doing the donkey's work, you're doing the Lord's work. So I've come to appreciate it in that context. Yeah.
So I just want to pick up on certain aspects that are running across your definitions and your experiences. One of the key things we are taking away from this discussion is money is not the full answer. It's not just about money. I know a lot of you think if I have money, I can scale, I can do all this. But what we're hearing is money is not just the only thing that you need. So maybe you could just delve a little bit into what has your experience been, or what are the lessons that you've taken from the fact that when you're scaling, it's not just about money, it's about people, it's about networks, it's about your customer at the end of the day. So maybe just to jig things up, we can start with Endre.
Sure. So, when you have money, you also need something else. Discipline, So that's very important when you have money, you need discipline. So yes, you do need money to scale. But your goal, in my view, okay, every business is different, but you need a new market it's not like a new startup, but it's a new project. And your goal should be to get the revenue from that market as soon as possible. So, and that's always been our goal. We have had different experiences with, you either employ locally or you send out your team. For some reason, it has worked better for us with sending out a team than employing locally. And I believe that because when you only, when you are in Kampala and you don't engage directly, only virtually, you don't get the same culture and speed as if you work in the team. But so that's also probably mean that if you're going to scale, you can test a little bit, but I would say it's better to go all in one market, maybe after some tests, than again spread yourself too thin. Because if we have a few representatives here and there, they don't have the necessary, they are not heavy enough. So, for example, now we are opening in Zanzibar, and we are doing it. We're going to have a team there, etc., and really push that market. So you need a very good team. You need to quickly get revenue. You need to learn a lot, and you have to solve a lot of problems. Those are some of the things.
Kamal, over to you.
Okay, so first of all, I think to scale up, many of the founders nowadays think that you need money to scale up. I mean, if you have money, you can scale up maybe quickly. But when you don't have money, you can scale up with coming out with innovative solutions that really makes the difference. So I'll just give an example on the case of Little. We are not funded. Craft is not funded. Little is not funded. Everything is self-funded. And I think I can say we are a unicorn. If you put Little and Craft together, I'm sure we are a unicorn. But we are not funded. So the way we took an approach, for example, in this particular session, I met him and he has this nice network of hotels. So he just came up with an idea saying, can I work with him and all the hotel rooms that he has, can we put a QR code in all the rooms? A guest just scans the QR code and order a Little. And so if we works out together, without doing a lot of investment, just using a bit of my brain and a bit of his brains and a bit of our experiences, we have now, how many hotels?
We have 40,000.
So now, you see, I have all these customers with me.
That's $40,000,
Let's give them a hand. Let's give them a hand for that.
So I think to scale up, look, money is important, and I think you just need to figure out with money you can do it quickly, but without money also you can do that. But you need to put a bit of your brain so that it really scales up and gives you that edge. So there are a couple of examples like this. It's not just one example. For example, we launched a product and localized the product to where you operate. Kenyans love drinking. True.
It's okay, we just say Kenyans in the room where are you?
There are no Kenyans here.
Your hand now.
There are no Kenyans here.
There are no Kenyans here. But you see, you're suspecting yourself. You could be drinking,
Drinking tea. So now I add water. So Kenyans in the room, now raise your hand. We love drinking.
So now what we did, you see, Kenyans would go out for, and Nairobians would go out for drinking. They will go to this club at 9, they'll sit there for half an hour, then go to the next door club, sit there for another half an hour, then go to, so they keep hopping. So we said, can we launch a product on Little called club hopping? So what club hopping does is, let's say I am at one of the bars, I tell that I am here and I want to go to the next bar, I select I am on this bar, then I want to go to that bar. We keep hopping throughout the night in Little at a fixed price of 100 shilling from one club to the other. So we just launched it. I'm a very introvert, so I don't go to so much to the club. But that product, once we launched, it became a super hit. And today it's, over the weekends, it generates a lot of revenues for us. So I think all I'm saying is, look, you need money, and if you don't have money, then you can still use it different ways to scale up. Yeah.
I really like that example because he's observing his customers. He's looking at what they do, and he's deciding, okay, if we are able to tap into this with a product, then I'll definitely make revenue, right? He's met with Endre here, they've discussed, and he's like, oh, bathrooms. Then people can order instead of on the phone. If you have a QR code in the room, why not? Innovation, thank you for that. Barclay.
So I think the difference with what Kamal is building and how he's doing it is when you have stakeholders, so the scaling around for the entrepreneurs who are here, you've done your seed round, and then the way the investor will see their return is if you raise a Series A. So so there is the scaling where you're looking at the business fundamentals and looking at how do I move from point A to point B. But from your investor standpoint and from how they perceive growth, they're looking at it as how do you raise your Series A, because then that's where I add my markup, or that's where I sell a bit of my shares and have some liquidity event for myself. Yes, and their portfolio value of course goes up. So you find the business might not be as ready to scale, but you throw money at it, because that's now what will happen. You go raise money, and then if you're to do a Series A, whatever it is, you're throwing money to scale, but the fundamentals of the business might not, or the market also, what the market fundamentals, what the market is telling you, might not be adding up to that. So that if I was doing 10% growth month on month, and then you give me $5 million, it won't magically make my growth 100% month on month. Because hiring more people will not mean that the customers will come faster. Having a bigger office will not mean that your product is better. So like, you have to look at the fundamentals of what you're actually doing. And for me, I've seen in this market, like a big mismatch between, and not this market, this is the African continent, and I guess elsewhere, where you've gotten into the kind of like the business is playing to the VC cycle and not the market. So some investor will tell you, I'm giving you money, yes, but in 18, 24 months, and by the time this money is running out, you should be ready to do your Series A. Series A has like different expectations and numbers. Then the people who give you money on Series A tell you, I'm giving you 18 months, you will give me X. So you're not running your business looking at the market, you're looking at what the investors and the expectations are. And I guess that's why you're seeing the graveyard for startups is also becoming very active, because that mismatch then means that you're not, one, you're discounting customers, because then using VC dollars, I will acquire a customer for less because somebody has given me that money. And I'm not looking at what is the actual price I need to charge this customer for the value that I'm giving them. So those are things that, for me, this is random thoughts, because it's a lot of things, but it's what you look at and see what road you want to choose, because you can choose where, like Kamal is doing, the market is my true north. The people validate me with their cash, or you go the VC route, where they will subsidize your product. They push for that growth, but it also comes with the expectation and the price that as an entrepreneur you should be very cognizant.